There is a sickness in Nigeria that has been with us for as long as Nigeria has existed. It does not show up on any hospital chart, and no government has ever declared it an emergency, but it may be responsible for more of Nigeria's daily struggles than anything else we talk about. It is the need, felt by almost everyone, to be seen as better than the person next to them, and often by whatever means it takes to get there. We call it in everyday language, I pass my neighbor. Translated plainly, it means I am better than my neighbor.
$5,000. Don't play yourself.
Depend them.
Wanting a better life isn't the problem. Ambition on its own is healthy. But once the goal shifts from becoming better to just looking better than the person next to you, then it no longer is about growth, but about competition. And when a whole country is competing against each other instead of building together, it's hard to move forward as one. That might explain something a lot of us have noticed. As individuals, we Nigerians thrive almost everywhere in the world. But as a collective, we can't pull off that same success at home. The phrase actually has a specific origin. Back in the 90s, as Nigeria's electricity kept getting more unreliable, small generators became the only real backup for many households. One popular brand was actually called I Pass My Neighbor, a small joke about enjoying steady light while everyone else was in darkness. Only a few families could afford one at the time, and the ones who could, they wore it like a badge. That generator making noise through the whole street at night, disturbing everyone. However, to the owner, it wasn't a nuisance at all. It was more like a status symbol. Having more than your neighbor was not just enough. Your neighbor had to notice, full stop. But it doesn't only happen with generators. It happens everywhere, even on the roads. Ask why traffic locks up for hours at junctions across Nigeria, even when there's no accident and no obvious obstruction. And the answer is usually the same mentality at work. It's because no driver wants to wait for their turn. Instead, everyone tries to chance the next person, to bully them off the road, like giving way is some kind of defeat. So you end up with a traffic jam that bad roads didn't even cause, just people refusing to yield. Everyone loses time, so nobody has to lose a small, invisible contest with a total stranger. You see, I pass my neighbor is more than just a phrase people throw around for laughs. It's closer to a national state of mind at this point. If you dig deeper to the roots, it's really just the need to look more successful, more arrived, more advanced than whoever is standing closest to you. And that drive quietly shapes decisions most Nigerians make every day, from the car they buy, to the house they build, to the wedding they throw, often well beyond what they can actually afford. Part of why this mentality is so common is because the reward comes almost immediately, and everybody can see it. In Nigeria, money and status mean a lot. Once people think you have either one, even if there is nothing really behind it, the way they treat you can change almost overnight.
Are you crazy or something? You just speak, you don't think?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Come on, carry her suitcase in the house.
Okay, sir.
Obese fool.
Doors open more easily. Police officers are suddenly more polite. Even strangers treat you with a different level of respect. Sometimes, looking successful can get you almost the same treatment as actually being successful. You'll even notice that at events, people show up with 2 or 3 police or security guards, even when there's no need for it, even when the venue provides security. Why do they do this? Because it makes them appear important, like they have something to lose, something to protect. And everyone around them notices too. There's also the instance of someone traveling to Europe or America and immediately starts posting pictures of themselves in thick jackets and gloves with the snow as a backdrop. This isn't the usual travel pictures that people take to log their holiday or send to family, but another reason for them to dunk on those they left back home, like a way to say, look, I've left you behind. Some even only travel out for a few weeks or months, but return with a foreign accent that if you didn't know them before, you'd think they were born in America or England. It's just how we are. The neighbor with the generator running so loudly that the whole street can hear it, and the driver squeezing past everybody in traffic are actually playing the same game. There is this pressure in Nigeria to always look like you are doing better than the person next to you. Some people call it healthy competition, and to be fair, sometimes it is. But we should also ask what this constant need to outdo each other is costing the country. One of the biggest costs is what is now labeled as the quick money economy. It is basically a whole system built around finding the fastest way to make money, and more importantly, making sure people can see that you have it. How the money was made is not as important as making the money is. If you listen to everyday conversations across the country, this unofficial economy is clearly much bigger than we like to admit. The same hunger for quick money helped create the advanced fee fraud schemes of the 1980s, popularly known as 419. That never really went away. It simply changed with technology and became what we now call Yahoo Yahoo, drawing in young Nigerians with the promise of making serious money quickly without having to go through the normal process of earning it. You see something similar in the sex work economy that we call Olosho or Ashewo. For some women, it looks like one of the quickest ways to get the kind of money that can pay for the things people use to show that they have arrived. The same I pass my neighbor mentality feeds into other things we see every day. The rise of shallow, attention-seeking content on social media, where getting likes and views can matter more than actually having something useful to say. And the way Nigerians sometimes choose political leaders because of the money they display, the cars they drive, or the kind of confidence they project, rather than their competence or character. But before we start blaming people for this, it is worth asking where this mentality actually comes from. Three things stand out. The first is Nigeria's fiercely competitive education system. Since we were children, we are ranked, positioned, and pitted against our classmates. First, second, last in class. Not simply given grades like A, B, C, etc., like most foreign education systems. And we're taught early that our value is measured against the person sitting beside us, not against our own progress. The second is the deep and widening gap between rich and poor. Nigeria's income inequality is stark, and the distance between the top and the bottom keeps growing. Once someone crosses into wealth, there's a real risk they begin treating those below them the way they themselves may have been treated on the way up, less as neighbors, more as people to be outpaced. The third is the residue of colonial rule. After independence, many of the people who inherited positions of power did not dismantle the old hierarchies they lived under, a system of rule that relied on power and subjugation. They simply stepped into the same oppressive structures the colonizers had built, adjusting the faces at the top without changing the system underneath. So, when a person from the lower class finally makes it in life, they too want to be respected in the same way they had respected those before them.
Do you know who I am?
Did your mother not tell you?
In Nigeria, it's normal to hear a Nigerian who feels disrespected saying, "Do you know who I am?" Or someone telling a misbehaved elderly person, "Please respect your old age." These same pressures also feed into something less obvious but just as damaging. A culture where people are simply doing the bare minimum, even when they are supposed to be serving the public. Real estate developers are a good example, with the focus often placed on making as much money as possible while spending as little as they can. Many end up putting up poorly built houses that families then have to live in for years, sometimes even decades. A country full of individuals racing hard and running fast, each one determined to outpace the person next to them, when the real progress was always going to come from running together. If you can relate to the challenging "I pass my neighbor" phenomenon in Nigeria, kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching.